fight forever, biblical poetry prayer. And he came out of the temple. One of his disciples said to him, "Look, teacher, what wonderful stones and what wonderful buildings." And Jesus said to him, "Do you see these great buildings? There will not be left there one stone upon another that will not be thrown down." And as he sat on the Mount of Olives opposite the temple, Peter and James and John and Andrew asked him privately, "Tell us, when will these things be, and what will be the sign when all these things are about to be accomplished?" And Jesus began to say to them, "See that no one leads you astray. Many will come in my name, saying, 'I am he,' and they will lead many astray. And when you hear of wars and rumors of wars, do not be alarmed. This must take place, but the end is not yet. For nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There will be earthquakes in various places. There will be famines. These are but the beginning of the birth of pains. And once again in our world, we see wars, we see power misused, and we see the places where we might put our hope and trust are frail. Just this week, the Church of England has been forced to reckon with terrible abuse that has taken place in the failure of those in authority to protect the young, and that has opened the absence of many leaders and the presence of corruption. Although I have been encouraged to see Keir Starmer's taking a lead, much that has seemed firm has been crumbling, and at the same time, forces when seem to be serving themselves seem very powerful and movable and probable. Biblical is a hard place to be for many, and we may need to give time to our fear and grief, and we may need to find others with whom walk through these hard places, and so turn into this or spit and rap and never ending. These beautiful stones, this beautiful temple, all that wealth and power, all Herods and might and posturing always can and will be thrown down, and always it is not the end of all things, although it is the end. For time still stretches out among ruins, lost to twilight, and dust settles or blows on the grave. When strength seems invincible, stones seem solid and movable. The might and ritual of a temple have such our foundations in the mind, and yet time, wind, whispers, armies, the running of water, the roots of trees can and will undo them all. So do not be cowed by these great walls, for they will fall, nor be there fallen. For a fall they must, and the world will turn and turn again. And what was an end, and may come to seem the blowing of dry leaves in autumn and absence, and may even dare, we hope, begin to be birth pains, pains of after all. Wrap up, no. Or ending spitting notes into my phone. Well, there if I go, the night can fall suddenly on the road, when alone darkness sweeps, and like a flood, and one who lived with others, a dweller among tents, is out in open country now. Wow, how not brown cow. Alone he chooses a stone and rests on cold rock, and finds that to the fugitive, the lonely, the guilty one, dreams may come in company to a sort strange, perhaps luminous angels ascending and descending, and a presence, such a presence that is here and now, and one who is above the angels and right beside him, and speaks with that deep resonance that comes through dreams, perhaps those away from the naughtiness and rush of their own mind can know that this stone, and so every stone is the gate of heaven, shining with oil, that this place, and so every place is where God is, that this dream night can change the day heart of one who walks away, for even the stones have a sheen of brightness now. Wow, wherever they are from afar, spit and raps from afar. Wow, wherever you are, some things cannot be bought, and yet they are. See those neat piles of coins, counted carefully, those ink marks methodically made, those animals sold for sacrifice, coins given for prayers, for favor, for the words and work of God. His carpenter's hands gripped the smooth grain tables and appended them, poured out the shimmering piles of coins, rolling and shining over the stone floor. Some things, perhaps once all, are freely given: life, air, water, growing things for food, breath, beauty, favor, love. So many things we lay out in rows, so many tables, so many neat marks of ink or light. Bound we see no alternative, cannot imagine another way. And yet here is a man throwing coins to the floor with a whip to drive out money changers, while wooden tables lie grown on their tables, set free. Then what happens in this space, this chaos of all our reckoning, appended, the blind and the lame come and are healed, and the children run and shout Hosanna. And what is and what will be is all a gift, so it is, and may it also be so. Well, there if I go, don't you know? Well, those empty stone jars, I see them pale gray with a film of dust leaning against the wall, overlooked, unregarded, as the wedding rolls on, music and dancing and laughter sending tiny tremors through their hollowness. Six of them as empty as days can't be, an emptiness we know by tasting our dry mouths rimmed with fine powdered stone. And this is where you began your work, and these empty jars had them filled with cold water. So far, so excited for purification, cleansing the couples, the towns, love and life, as the wise look on, nodding, sure that they have your meaning. Oh, how you delight in unpendant, you pendant expectations, traditions. What was drawn from these jars was not water for making pure, but a red bubbling joy of good wine poured and shared, for the delight of all gathered, for the blessing of love and union, uproariously, and without fanfare. And after 3 days, this is the glory revealed. That is what it means to be full of grace and truth, to have our days, our blessings filled with water, only for it to be poured out as fine vintage, only for it to be transfigured, transformed, as wondrous as the grapes of the vine, as wondrous as a day of life, so open to joy. No. Well, there if I go. Just now I saw the sun catching a raindrop as it rolled so slowly down a sedum stem, fleshy and green. It shone through red, rich, and neon and ruby, flashing as the stem swayed in the breeze, taking the drop through that one ray of light back and forth, and it suddenly changed to the dazzling blue of cobalt, of a lapis lazuli. Oh, heavenly blue, just not for a moment. This treasure made of light and rain, the solitary shining drop, becomes a tiny heart shard, a promise, a slim fragment of the ark that holds the sun and the rain. It all speaks in the mind's quiet, and in a flash of brilliance that turns your head, a gentle whisper and a burning bush, both a drop and a rainbow. The world shines with meaning, murmuring as the green earth is drenched by sun and rain. Away I fire, away your bullets ricochet, seeds are blowing in the breeze, a gentle white and light. Fairies, I used to call them as a child, back when the world was full of seeds and butterflies and glimmers of an enchantment. I breathe slowly and long into all this ripening. All glows with a deeper life, a light that and color under the skin, shining with a sun of green and ripening. Each seed head releasing a kind of forgiveness that falls with the seed, falls to the earth, bearing new beginning. 70 times 7, life wills to live despite all we have done. Life uncoils again and again, pops off of my head. I am humble before it. Before the caterpillars, I'm a toad flax, a frog stirring beneath the strawberries. The world is indeed full of grace. We do not deserve these chances. Again and again and again, off poppeth my head as I'm rapping, never ending. Again till off pops my head, it just popped off again. And yet deserving is not the point. Seeds fall, it is the very nature of things, and blow on the breeze. Each one offering multitudes. It is the way of seeds, might is grace, and one day, even today, catch us in its loving web, as the trumpets of bindweed blaze out a song of liberation, and the blackbirds tumble fearlessly, hungrily, and the hedge's ripeness for the seeds float still, and the air is still full of enchantment. Life whispers, it calls, it sings to us. Does it know we will turn towards it at last wooded and wonder-struck, and learned we have belonged all along. We may, we can. Those dry seeds show us how. Now. Wow. She seems to float, lit up with her own light, slowly turning blue and blooming with clouds. As we walk up and look up, smoke before her, bob above our steps, the familiar painted roof rolls on, telling its painted story from the tree and the garden on towards this fathomless, a shining beauty. But all that was so very good in the beginning. Now, as she turns, we see how she hangs below the story's last scenes. The gift of the beloved child held on his mother's lap, held toward us, and loved and given, and the wounded golden king who gives still, and below hangs the whole shining earth, dazzling fast with sea, turning and flowering with clouds from the sovereign ice shine and melting, although we do not see her weep, and the land, those small green swaths and swags are dressed in white too, a veil of vapor, while the desert spread brown and red above our eyes. The land, our small countries, seem tales we tell. What is certain is this one great flow, ocean and ice and cloud and the unseen winds that bear them through our blue breathing air, and the people stand beneath her, lit by ice, and hold up their hands as if to carry her or hold her or save her from falling. How beautiful it is, how strange and wondrous that we should be creatures who live within so much living perfection. And as she slowly turns under the child and the king, I wonder, what do those familiar words mean now? Pop, about wow, sense of the world, as the stain of a reckless harm seeps through the blue and green, through all this living glory. And is there any hope in our waking up to beauty with grief and loss, even as dust and ashes, dust to dust, ashes to ashes, float across the sky, across us all, late as we are and are repentant? And is there hope that we might be granted this grace time for amendment life of life, to tend the garden with its leaves and fruit shining and greening, to take part in the work of love and healing, of restoration, of making all things anew. All right, go. Haven't yet heard the morning the oxy daisy cradled an insect I had never seen before, unknown, unimagined, strange and handsome, long, black, elegant, with an abdomen scribing in yellow runnings. I stroked its long, curled antenna tenderly, as if they were flocks of hair. Not knowing me, it knew no fear. It did not fly as I gazed. The small pitch of seed from last year, tiny, dry as sand, each day brings a new and wondrous fruitfulness and unanticipated beauty, a new joy, a new abundance. The scattering of it was now no small act, it seems, and I am coming to think that there aren't no small acts after all.